Welcome, Foolish Potato, to Weekend Magic for July the 30th, 2022. I will be your host, your ghost host, and you may be wondering, why am I doing a Haunted Mansion thing when it's still technically July? Why have I got the runner out? As though it were almost Halloween. Well, that's because of a little thing called Christmas creep. Now, what does Christmas have to do with the Haunted Mansion? Well, of course, in August it'll be turned into a Christmas display, but that's not what I'm going for. So if you're not familiar, Christmas creep is a term used to describe the fact that you know how it feels like Christmas stuff goes on display just a little earlier every year? Well, that's not actually your imagination. In the last couple years, we've seen Christmas stuff hitting the stores in like September, and then of course like you're talking about Hallmark, which has like Christmas stuff go up at the end of June. But the effect of Christmas items hitting the stores in September is that you now have this issue of potentially having Christmas stuff and Halloween stuff coming in at the same time, and you get the sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas effect in some stores, particularly like Target's really bad about it. So what they started doing is bringing the Halloween stuff out, not in September, but in August. Well, it seems like this year we've creeped maybe in a little bit farther from that, so perhaps we're going to see Christmas things in the store towards the end of August instead of in September, because we're already seeing Halloween stuff pop up now in the end of July. Now, that's fair. Like, Shop Disney has actually already put out Christmas stuff too. They put out like a whole series of sketchbook ornaments a couple weeks ago before putting out any of the stuff we're talking about today, because today we are talking about the fact that they've already released a whole slew of Haunted Mansion items. And unlike last year's kind of a lackluster showing. A lot of it was clothing based, kind of seemed like the person they had design all the merchandise for Cruella maybe had some hours left on their contract, and they said, well, why don't you do some Haunted Mansion stuff instead? And that was like pretty much the total Haunted Mansion items last year. This year, I feel like they've I don't know if learned something from maybe the fact that some of that stuff didn't sell so well, or if they're trying to be a little more impressive because there's a new Haunted Mansion movie in the works, or if they just realize that there are people like me who will buy almost anything if you put Haunted Mansion on it. But they have released already by the end of July, they've released a bunch of stuff on the Shop Disney, and I know there's more stuff in the parks too that hasn't shown up on Shop Disney yet. I know there are at least a couple sketchbook ornaments, which both look really nice, particularly the new Doom Buggy one. I know they have finally released the other two Hitchhiking Ghosts as Park Pals. We've got Ezra down there from a few years ago, but I have seen pictures now of Gus and Phineas also as Park Pals, which, obviously, yes, if they show up on Shop Disney, I will have to buy them. But today we have a few of the Haunted Mansion items have been released already, and we're going to look at them. Now, normally, I start these things out by looking at the small items. We go down there and look at the small stuff. But today, we're going to break that and go with the biggest items, because, frankly, they are both pretty big and are going to take up a lot of space on the table. And we'll start with the both biggest and heaviest. You can probably hear it crinkling already. It is this. It's a blanket. It's not just any blanket. It is a weighted blanket. I believe it was 12 pounds. I believe it was 12 pounds. It doesn't seem to actually say on here. It is a throw blanket. It is 50 by 60 inches. Yeah, 12 pounds. And I'm not going to take it out of its little ribbon, but we can take it out of the plastic at least and get a better look at it without the light glaring off of it. But yeah, now I love me a good weighted blanket. I sleep under weighted blankets every night. They're very nice. They don't require you to have a whole bunch of layers, but still get the weight of having a whole bunch of layers. And I will say I had no intention of buying this because I would frankly be generally afraid to use it because I don't want to mess it up. But at 12 pounds, 12 pound ones seem to be a little bit more manageable. I have a 12 pound and I actually have a couple 12 pounds, but I use a 12 pound. And then I have a 25 pound. As much as I like that extra weight, it becomes a little unwieldy. The weight distribution in it is a lot harder to manage than on the 12 pounder. So this should be quite nice as a 12 pounder, but For now, one, I mean, it's still July. It's 100 and something degrees outside today, and I'm not going to be using this potentially anytime soon, but it's one of those things where I figured if we don't order it, it's just not going to be there later on. But it's nice and soft. Got of course, the wallpaper pattern. As you can see, the same pattern that has inspired my table runner. And I don't remember what's on the other side, though. Was this side just gray? Oh, no, that's this side. Is there... Can we look at the other side at all from this? It looks like they folded it in such a way that all of the edges are... Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's an edge. Just looks like it's just purple. Just purple on the other side. Kind of, you know, Haunted Mansion colors. But yeah, I'm going to leave this bound up for now and put it back in the plastic bag when we're done here today for a later date. But I figured, you know, it's huge. We should show it first and get it out of the way now. It's not, of course, it's not the only bit of home decor they have released already. Aside from a blanket, they've also released a pillow. Yep, it is a throw pillow, because you know you need throw pillows. If you have any room to actually sit on your couch without moving a bunch of pillows, then you're not living your life right. So they have released this pillow, and this art style I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this year. I know we have one other thing today that has this kind of art style on it. But this, of course, is a pillow of the stretching room portraits. We've got Sarah Sally Slater, Alexander Nitrikov, Constance Hatchaway, and the three guys who, if they have names, I still don't know what they are. But it says it is, what, polyester, I believe. Got the big tags on it. Oddly, maybe it's just because it's not on such a small item, but it feels like the tags on a pillow are actually smaller than the tags on, like, the ears. It is one size. Well, thank goodness. I wouldn't want to have a pillow that's too small for me. Not that I would ever, like, lay on this pillow. Let's see. Made of polyester. Dated delivery. It's not on there. I guess... am I supposed to write that on there? Well, I'm not going to write that on there. Nor am I going to cut the tag off. But, yeah, it's kind of like almost kind of a jute feel to it, but soft. But it's got that, you know, nice coarse texture to it. It actually feels quite nice. I like the coarse texture, but again, not too firm, not scratchy. Still pretty soft. And what's on the back here is, of course, the wallpaper. Everything is the wallpaper because it's... Oh, hey, this is a zipper. So you can take this off. There's the pillow inside. Looks kind of like a hotel pillow in there. You can take this off so you can wash it. So that's nice. I don't think that's a thing you see all that often on throw pillows. So... okay, it's a thing that I legitimately don't have a use for. I mean, it's a throw pillow. Everybody has use for throw pillows if you have a couch, I suppose. But I mean, it's something that I probably would have let pass. But my wife, she liked it, so she picked it up. I mean, it is unique. It is the only Haunted Mansion throw pillow we have in our collection. Now, you would think, being only July, that would be it for new Haunted Mansion things, because you know you wouldn't want to put that stuff out till closer to the fall, till closer to Halloween. But no, again, maybe it's just because in the parks they're about to close the mansion in August for the Christmas refit, and they wanted to get the real mansion stuff out there in time for people to buy it before the real mansion goes away for the winter. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the reason. But all right, now we'll go down to look at the smaller things. So now we'll get back into more of our traditional form here by looking at the smallest item, which is, frankly, I mean, it's the first item that released that I actually really did want to get personally, and that, of course, is a pin of this Madame Leota. And let's pop it up. You can actually see it through the plastic, but we'll take it out because I know the light glares off. It's something awful. But hey, we can see back here it's $12.99. Single Mickey pin back. But it's very nice. It's a pin on pin. We have this layer, the signage on top of a kind of ornate background. We got the sun and the moon back there. And it says, "Make your final arrangements. We've been dying to have you." And it's got Madame Leota on it. And it's a nice cute little pin. I don't think this one glows in the dark though. I don't remember. I don't believe it does. Let's see if we can get... Oh, you know what? I think it does. Hold on. Let's kill us some lights and try to get a better look at that. Alright, so yeah, this one does glow in the dark. I thought this one didn't, but let's charge it up. Good. It charges up fast, doesn't it? There we go. I mean, it's still a little bright in here because the head puts off a fair amount of glow, but I think you can get the effect quite nicely. That actually glows really well. How did I not notice this one glow? This is like one of the first items that showed up. It's been sitting here for like a week. And this is the first time I've noticed this one glows. But quite nice. Yeah, I think you get a little better as it darkens there. Now, it's very nice, but it is a little small, so if you're having trouble seeing what's on it, we do have a remedy for that. With this, our next item, which my wife thought this was going to be bigger than it is. This is the size I thought it was going to be, but I think she was thinking more like something you could use as like tableware. But it is basically a larger version of that same pin of I guess it's a sign. I'm guessing there's probably going to be a sign of this probably released at some point too that you can just put up on your wall. But it's the same exact design minus the little fancy bits on the outside. And it is a ceramic tray, I believe, made out of ceramic. Should say on the back here, right? Porcelain. It's made of porcelain, not ceramic, porcelain. And it says the same thing, make your final arrangements. We've been dying to have you. And you can see there is actually other writing, which I do think is on the pin, but it's very, very tiny on the pin, and it's much easier to read here. Beware fright. Awaken all spirits, rest in peace. I feel like those are contradictory statements. But it's nice that you can definitely see the design of Madame Leota a lot better on here. I mean, it is clearly the same design, but I suppose if I'm going to criticize this, actually, comparing these two side by side, you can see on the pin where a lot of the finer detail, like on the urns and on the bat, did just sort of become black blobs on the pin. There was such fine detail that it didn't shrink down well without loss of detail. I still think the pin looks nice, but I mean, looking at it next to the porcelain platter, it is definitely not as well detailed. The design's not as distinct, but still quite nice. Now, I've taken this out of order again. I feel like just those two items needed to be next to each other in the timeline of events, because our next item is a little smaller than the platter, a little bigger than the pin, and also relates to the pin in that it itself is a pin. The Haunted Mansion Jumbo Pin. This actually, they kind of snuck out. It was not like at the top of the page with the new items. It didn't come out with the other Haunted Mansion stuff. They like snuck this in the middle of a release of the sketchbook pins. Now, if you're not familiar with those just yet, apparently they've realized that they're leaving money on the table by just making sketchbook ornaments. They've made pins of some of the ornaments. And this was like just kind of snuck in the middle of those and seemed to have kind of not, there we go, even it back out. They've kind of just kind of snuck this out in the middle of it. We were flipping through there and we saw there's this Haunted Mansion pin. And for a moment we thought maybe, it was the same pin as this, but obviously it's not. It's quite a bit larger, also quite a bit more expensive. I think this was like $34.99, something like that. But it is quite large, and unfortunately it is sealed. The seal can come off easily, because I don't want to cut it open. But if it'll just kind of pop off, we can take a better look at it without, here we go, without the glare of the plastic in the way. Now, I didn't realize when we ordered this that there's something wrong with it. Do you see what it is? I mean, it requires you, of course, to know something about my feelings about the Haunted Mansion. And it's not anything wrong with the pin itself. The pin is not scratched, scuffed. There's no real issues with anything on it. It's just, do you see my issue with it? There's two indicators of it. And honestly, it was the, I guess the second one that got me first. But we have, here is a pin of the Florida Mansion. Yep, that's the Florida Mansion. And I realized it when looking at the pin because that's the Mariner, who's not in the real mansion. But we do have representation of all of our other kind of major characters. We've got, of course, Hatbox Ghost top center where he should be. We've got Phineas, Ezra, and Gus. Now it's Ezra, Phineas, and Gus, but Madame Leota down there. We've got the Mummy, which I know a lot of people like the Mummy. I'm not super crazy about the Mummy. I don't dislike him either. I just don't really have opinions on the Mummy either way. We've got... Who are you? Is that supposed to be... Is that our ghost host? Who? I don't recognize that ghost. I'm guessing maybe it's another... Is that another graveyard ghost? I think the detail's kind of failing us on that one a little bit. But of course we have Constance. We have the Mariner. I think originally when I saw the Mariner, I thought it was like one of the opera ghosts. And then of course the groundskeeper and his dog. And it's kind of done in that sort of pewter look that I really liked in the Star Wars pins they did a little while back. So then that appeals to me too. That is that kind of pewter metal look. And much like with those, it's very, very detailed. I mean, it's different art style than those. It's much more of a kind of standard art style. But like with those, it's not a flat pin. It's not... I can't hold on to things today. It's not like this, where it's just, kind of a glossy, flat, smooth surface. This is all kind of engraved into the metal. I don't know how well that shows up on camera, because of course if I turn it sideways, you can see like Haunted Mansion sticks out from the front here. Yeah, these are all kind of like, I mean, I know it's a mold, it's not a carving, but they're all molded into there in quite nice detail. I mean, there are some places where just the limitations of the metal do create maybe a little smoothing, like Leota's face a little bit there. Constance is very much so. She basically has no face at all. But then things like I guess because he's a little bigger, Hatbox has just fantastic detail on him. They released on there this week, and we didn't get them, and I have no intention of getting them, which does not mean we won't end up getting them. They released a set of drinking flutes, I guess to go with the wine decanter they released last week, which also we didn't get, and I personally have no intention of getting, but again, that doesn't mean we won't. But on the drinking flutes, they have Constance, and on the other one is Hatbox. Now, am I the only person that's never put together the idea that Hatbox is supposed to be one of Constance's husbands? I mean, I get that, he's lost his head, which is very much in theme with all of her husbands now, but yeah, I never put together that they were supposed to be actually connected. I just kind of figured that was where he went and that's where they put him back to. I didn't know they were actually thematically linking the two. Because if Hatbox is one of her husbands, why does he not have a proper name? Because I think most, if not all of her husbands that we're aware of have actual names. Like there's Hightower, and there's the one on the tombstone. Was it George? I feel like that's an interesting retcon, and maybe it's something they're going to expand upon in like the new Haunted Mansion movie and make it more clear. But I had never put together that they were supposed to be married. All right, so I'm rambling. You're staring at a pin. There, of course, was one other thing on the pin we need to show you, and this is, of course, that it also has glow-in-the-dark features. So let's kill the lights again. And this is actually just charged up a little bit from just being in the light, but let's hit it more. This one really glows brightly. I'm impressed with how this one glows, because that really glows nicely. The Haunted Mansion in particular is just super nice and clear. Of course, being in the dark, nothing else really shows. It kind of almost looks a little bit in the dark like it could be the plaque, with you not being able to see any of the rest of that detail. But the glow on the edge is nice. I mean, is there much sense in these things glowing? It's not like you're going to wear this into the ride or something. I can't imagine actually wearing this. First of all, it's huge. It's only a double pin back. I would kind of expect something this big to be a three pinner or a three backer, because it's quite heavy. But it does look very, very nice. I do really like it. I do wish it had been the California Mansion. I also wish I knew who this guy was. I'm sure. Let me know in the comments. It's gonna be something stupid when you tell me who who this person here next to Constance, between Constance and Hatbox is, or Constance and the Mummy. Is it it's not the old man. I just don't recognize. Is he like maybe the Phantom Manor host? I don't think so. He doesn't look like the Phantom Manor host, because that guy like has a top hat. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you know who this guy is. And then I can feel stupid for not having known it myself. Now, at this point in the video, you may be thinking, surely we're done, right? I mean, that's a lot of Haunted Mansion items to be showing off in July. And no, we're not done. There's still a couple more items, because if there's one thing that Disney has to always release now, aside from pins and housewares, it's... Now, you may be thinking key. You may be thinking key, and you would be smart to think key. But no, it's not a key, at least not yet. It is, of course, mini ears. And we've got a couple pairs of mini ears, starting off with this one that's already been opened, and that is our bridal ears. We've got the bridal veil on it. We've got, again, that new kind of cartoony art style of Constance, like we saw on the throw pillow. And honestly, I didn't notice this until I was putting things in here yesterday. I had somehow not noticed that there's a headless groom on there next to her. I had just thought it was her, kind of bizarrely off-center, maybe so the flowers didn't interfere with her. But yeah, there's one of her headless grooms to the side of her. Anything on the back? No, nothing on the back. Just kind of a plain back, a little flourish back there. That's mostly on the front. We can take a better look at the veil back here. Can you couldn't, yeah, you couldn't, I don't think you could flip this forward and like put it over your, no, that would, now this is definitely more of the train style of veil. I mean, too far, which is, you know, what we see Constance there wearing as well. She's not got it over her face at this point. It's done up in that normal kind of velvety fabric they use for these. The inside doesn't feel as grippy as they usually do. I mean, it's definitely rougher if you pull it this way than this way, but it doesn't seem as grippy. I'm sure it's not going to be an issue if you're wearing this, assuming you're wearing this. But it's unusual. Also, there's no writing on here. It doesn't say like Haunted Mansion or anything. I guess they assume you're going to know what this is from. And I guess if you don't know, then you just don't need to know. But they're kind of nice. Got the little sequin thing going on here. It looks like they're just clear sequins, so they'll sparkle in the light, which I don't think they'll do in here. But they'll sparkle like in the appropriate style of lighting while not obscuring the artwork. Yeah, they're pretty nice. I'm not maybe, you know, not the nicest Haunted Mansion ears ever in my opinion, but you know, these aren't really for me, so my opinion only matters a little bit. Now they've released not just one set of ears so far, they've released two. And here is the other one. This is the one I personally think looks nicer. And yes, this one we haven't actually opened yet. So we're opening it here together. And let's see if I still think it's nicer looking at it actually out of the plastic and in person. And of course, just like the other one that we have, the big CVS. See, I feel like this is long. Is this longer? Let's do a side by side here. Yeah, this tag, I guess to be fair though, on the pillow there are two tags, and on here there's only the one, so maybe that's where that balances out. What do people do with these? Do you leave them on? I feel like cutting them off is damaging the item. Do you leave them on? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yep, here's our other Haunted Mansion one, and this is, so first of all, both of these light years better than last year's Punk Leota. I mean, we have last year's Punk Leota, and it's fine, but I mean, I could stick, you know, safety pins in a set of ears and call it art. But yeah, I think these are both just light years better than those ones from last year. And we have the pattern of the maid and butler outfits, the cast member uniforms there. We of course have our wallpaper pattern, which bizarrely they chose to put on upside down. That's a choice. And then we have like a little hat, maybe Hatbox Ghost's hat, a little like kind of semi-top hat there, which I think looks a lot nicer than the hats on our last couple Mickey Mouse The Main Attraction ears, in that it doesn't stick out too far in any direction. It looks nice as the centerpiece of the bow. Usually they put like something plastic there or metal there. I think the little hat there looks quite cute. We have some bats. which you don't see a lot of bats in the Haunted Mansion, now that I think about it. There's not a lot of that traditional like bats and spiders kind of stuff. I mean, they're clearly there. There's cobwebs and things, but not a huge focus on them. More on the spirits. In the back, again, fairly straightforward, just more of that uniform pattern. We do have writing on this one. It does say the Haunted Mansion in the Haunted Mansion font. And see, this feels a little more grippy. This feels a little grippier in here. Like, it's not, if you pull it up, it's not going to slide off your hair so easily. But it's still that same sort of velvety appearance. I guess you could, my mom talked about rolling these up and like pinning them to the inside of the band, which is probably, I think, about the best solution. Because if you're going to hang these up somewhere, you don't want this. I think that rolling that up and pinning there is the best solution. I personally, and these aren't mine, so I mean, she can do as she pleases, but I feel like cutting the tag off is in some ways damaging the product. At the same point, I also kind of feel that about the plastic tabs, but I totally understand wanting to remove those. And there we have it, our additions to our ever-growing Haunted Mansion collection for this year so far. I'm sure there will be more before it's all said and done, before Halloween comes and goes. Why, before you know it, we are going to have our own 999 Happy Haunts. With no room for one more, I'm sure. But, yeah, that's where we are so far. Again, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more stuff released before it's all said and done. They've released more stuff than this stuff, and I don't think we've ordered any of it. But there are more items that have already been released that even if I had ordered it, wouldn't have made it here in time for this. And I do like this year's collection more than last year so far. I like that they are skewing maybe a little higher end in appearance and in content. We're seeing kind of more of the houseware stuff, like they have the appetizer plates, we've got blankets and pillows and multiple ears, both nicer than last year's. We got some nice pins, the little platter. I'm wondering if they're gonna like end up doing like a whole table setting. There's like a cake stand that's coming out now. And again, this is stuff I've seen pictures of in the parks, like the ornaments and the Park Pals, that there's been no sign of on Shop Disney. It's a lot of clothes too. I don't really look at the clothes that much. I know there have been a lot of pictures of new clothes. I don't think of it on Shop Disney either. And again, I don't know if it's just because they're trying to tie it into the movie that's being made, or if they just realized after last year that there were a lot of adult collectors who do want to have nice Haunted Mansion things. I mean, I guess we've been seeing that with Star Wars too, like those Star Wars blankets and bedspreads and stuff that look in no way Star Wars-y. But I guess, I don't know, maybe somebody there is realizing more again that there are the Disney adults, which I know is generally used as an insult, who will collect the nicer things. But I still would like to see some action figures. I would love to see either like something done in like Toy Box, do some Toy Box figures of Hatbox, Hitchhiking Ghosts, Leota, whoever, or go upscale, get with Super 7, like with those Disney Ultimates figures. I would love to have like Disney Ultimates, Hatbox Ghost, and Hitchhiking Ghosts. I mean, the statues are nice, but some posable action figures would be great. But this video has gone on way too long for a Haunted Mansion video releasing in July, so let's cut it off here. Is there an item on here that you liked in particular, especially? I think for me, my favorite item probably is the Jumbo pin. Would be even better if it was the real mansion, not the Florida Mansion, but you know what, it's still a very, very nice pin, and it's, I think, the only thing that features Hatbox, which is important. But I do hope you found this at all interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.